Hello, hello. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make videos for NBA. All these videos get posted on this subreddit called DF Sports with one S. You can see here. My username is Shook. I reply to all of you guys. Really great place to be. Um, Really great place to be. People post like talk strategy here. You can ask me questions, stuff like that. So if that's something you're interested in, check it out. And then if you ever need to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me through Reddit, or you can get a hold of me through Twitter at Tori Langley 1992. One follower away from 500. That is crazy, crazy, crazy. Also, if you are interested in my Discord, I will have a link to that down below. And where do I start with the absolute pain that happened today? You guys want to hear something funny? I told everyone I was fading the first game. So I was fading Luca. I didn't want to play Luca today. I was fading him. I was gonna wait for news. I'm like, all right, I'm answering questions in Discord. I'm struggling to make a lineup. It's 7:57. I'm making my lineup. Making my lineup. Yeah, getting ready to smash in Sengun. Getting ready to smash in LaMelo Ball. Yeah. Draftkings logs me out. It goes with my dummy lineup, which obviously had LaMelo, Rozier, Sengun, and Levert, and I didn't want Rozier because you can't play LaMelo and Rozier together. You just can't do it. They eat into each other's usage. If they don't really have ceiling games next to each other, so you can't play both together, in my opinion. So DraftKings logs me out. I don't have time to log back in and make my lineup, and then I'm like, okay, LaMelo Ball gets injured, so I'm just dead. So um, before he got injured, I believe it was before, we got news that Sabonis was out, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna play Trey Lyles. I need a cheap guy for min price. I was like, okay, I'm gonna either play Metu or Holmes. I go to click on Holmes' name. I literally am there. I'm like, okay, Trey Lyles is at forward, and I'm sitting there. And I go to click Holmes' name, and it doesn't click. And Abaji is just in my lineup. You guys want to know what Rashawn Holmes did tonight? He went for like 32 fantasy points. Let's add, he went for like 32. Let's add 10 fantasy points to my, or no, it would be 20. So let's add just 20 fantasy points to my lineup. So 280. Where would we have finished with LaMelo Ball in my lineup if it would have just clicked on Rashawn Holmes? I would have cashed with LaMelo Ball in my lineup. DraftKings fucked me today. Sideways. I sent them an email. Hopefully they respond, but whatever. Alright, the core that I had for today, LaMelo Ball got injured. Naz Reid smashed. Alfred Sengun was a core play for me. He smashed. De'Aaron Fox reached value. So the core would have absolutely smashed if LaMelo Ball just didn't get injured. And then I rounded out my lineup with Trey Lyles. Should have been Holmes, but it was Abaji. Karis LeVert and Terry Rozier, who I didn't want. But that's the look back, guys. I hope you guys had a good night. I'm going to make this a really quick video. This slate is just not fun. Please go small in the slate. It's really disgusting. Probably one of the worst slates I think I've ever looked at in my entire life. So, yeah, please go small in it. So, on the Warriors, we have a tough spot here. Klay Thompson will be back here. So not much. Like Steph Curry, always in play for GPPs. Tough spot, but he does always have a ceiling. Kind of sucks that the peripheral stats have been down. Like earlier in the season, he was getting close to a double-double pretty much every night. I don't know why the peripheral stats have gone down, but Clay's a good rebounding guard, so he'll always get you a few rebounds. I think the assists will come back up, definitely. He'll play huge minutes. um, I believe this game's going to be a national TV game. I'm not entirely sure on that, but if you're into those narratives, yeah, I like Steph at the top. I do prefer Damian Lillard though. Jordan Poole I think is completely overpriced with Klay Thompson back, but does have a ceiling if he's hitting his shots. Klay Thompson himself, I definitely do prefer to Poole, but once again, pretty low floor when he's not hitting his shots, but has like a 50-point ceiling when he is. So the guards outside of Curry are just there for me. Like I don't love them, don't hate them. I think like Wiggins and Draymond, these two are much easier to get to. If we're gonna continue to get over 30 minutes from Andrew Wiggins, I do like this price tag at 5.8K. He might have the much easier. I don't know who he's gonna be on actually, but yeah. I think my favorite play is definitely going to be Draymond and Wiggins from the Warriors. Like, I think they're pretty safe plays. I don't know if they have the upside to actually like win you a GPP. Maybe Wiggins does at this price tag. So definitely interested in Wiggins at 5.8K if he's going to play over 30 minutes. I think that's a little bit too cheap. Dante at 4.8K. There's not a lot of value on the slate now that the price has gone down. I don't hate it. Don't mind it, don't love it. He'll probably play low to mid 20s minutes. Guy that can stuff the stat sheet, do everything. Yeah, I don't hate it. I think it's okay. Kevon Looney at 4.5K. You guys know the drill by now. Low usage guy, but a good rebounder. Sometimes will get you a double double. Probably plays low to mid 20s minutes. Has a really tough matchup here. So not too interested in Looney, but there isn't a lot of value in the slate, so I think he's perfectly fine. And I think that's going to be it for Golden State. Let's move over to Boston. So the big news here is Jaylen Brown is questionable. We'll cover it both ways. So if Brown's in, not much for me. Like Tatum, Brown, both of his ceiling. Both are priced appropriately though. Marcus Smart, I think, would be a little bit overpriced if he's in. Malcolm Brogdon would be overpriced if he's in. Robert Williams doesn't really affect him. I think he's okay at 5.5K. Minutes have been up of late. I don't mind him. Al Horford, much rather play Robert Williams, but an okay option for me. Derek White probably plays, high 20s minutes, low 20, like mid to high 20s minutes. 5.1K seems priced about right. Grant Williams at 4.4K, more out there for his defense. Would probably only prefer him if Brown is out. And I'm not going to go to anyone else. But if Brown's out, you guys know what to do. Tatum's going to become one of the best sped ups on the slate. He's going to have an insane usage rate, going to have to do everything for this team. Would really like Tatum. Would really like Smart at 6.5K. He gets a big usage bump, has to play a ton of minutes. So yeah, would like Smart a lot, would like Tatum a lot. Brogdon would be in play, but I think at this price point, it's just much easier to get to Smart. The bigs doesn't really affect too much, and then the Derek White I think would be a fine play at 5.1K. And I think that's it for Boston. Let's move over to Toronto. So we got the tight rotation again for these guys. So it's not the best spot going up against Minnesota, even though I think Gobert is going to be out. So I think that is a better spot for Siakam. I like all the Toronto guys. If they're going to keep running this tight rotation, which they did last game, I like them all. Siakam, Fred, Scotty, Trent, OG, all have a ceiling. Trying to figure out which one's going to have that ceiling game is extremely tough to do. Scotty Barnes has been extremely consistent of late. So maybe he's the easiest to predict, a guy that can get it done in a lot of different ways. A very good defender as well. Fred VanVleet's been on fire of late too. I think he's going to be a pretty popular play tomorrow, but if you want to keep riding that hot streak, I think that's perfectly fine. I think Siakam would be the lowest owned of the bunch because he's been bad of late. But I think with no Gobert on the other side, I think this is a pretty good spot for Siakam. So if you're going to factor in ownership, it's probably Siakam for me at the top, definitely my favorite. And then Fred, Scotty, Trent, OG. And then the bigs. So Chris Boucher probably plays, around 15 minutes. We don't have value on this slate. Really good point per minute guy. So I think he's firmly in play for salary relief. And then Precious Achiuwa has been playing, mid 20s minutes. I think they keep doing that. So if we're going to keep getting over 20 minutes from Precious Achiuwa, I think he's definitely a solid value play on this slate. So I do like Toronto tomorrow, but I know I'm going to be in pain, so I don't expect Rudy Gobert to play today. So we're going to assume that Rudy Gobert is out. going over this slate. I kind of want to see what the minutes ended with tonight. So interesting to see Jalen Noel did not get a minutes bump with no Austin Rivers. That's quite confusing. Torian Prince played 32. Okay, that's good to see. Nas Reed 26 got into massive foul trouble. Jaden McDaniel. Okay, perfect. So assuming Rudy Gobert is out, I like Anthony Edwards for GPPs. He's going to go really low owned tomorrow. Everyone just hates clicking on Anthony Edwards' name. I get it. He's an extremely frustrating roster, but as long as this game stays close, he's gonna have to keep it close. He's gonna play huge minutes. He's probably gonna get you like 2 to 3 steals every time. Every time I fade. So if I fade, I'll let you guys know. He'll probably go for like 10 steals, but he's gonna be aggressive, right? It's not the best matchup, not the best spot, which definitely has things working against him. But I think he's a good GPP play. D'Lo definitely much easier to get to at 6.7K. I think the price tag's still a little bit too cheap for him, so I do like D'Lo. Kyle Anderson's been averaging like a triple double the past 2 games. I don't understand it. It's not going to keep happening. If the ownership's going to go up in him, I'll gladly fade. He just seems like a very, very safe option in the mid range. McDaniels gets a bump if we get similar minutes from him, but he's always in foul trouble. I think he is an okay to solid value. And then I like Torian Prince once again for value. I think regardless if Austin Rivers in or out, he's probably going to play 20 to 25 minutes. If he's out and we get similar run tonight, I don't know if they went smaller or if he got more run because of Nas Reed foul trouble. That could have helped a little bit, but I think he'll be in the rotation regardless. I think he'll probably play over 20 minutes regardless. So not a lot of value on the slate. I think Prince looks solid for value. Noel, kind of like Malik Monk, has a ceiling if he's hitting his shots. Sometimes he'll get extended, but sometimes he'll get benched. And who they run with the backup 5? Garza. So sometimes they switch. I do believe they have gone with Nathan Knight in the past. Sometimes they go with Garza. If you think Nasri gets into foul trouble, you can take a shot on those guys, but I don't think it's necessary. And then with Gobert out, Nas Reed is the best play on the slate, and it's not close. So yeah, let's talk about Brooklyn now. So we have Kyrie coming back. Same thing I said before. Everyone's not going to want to play him because he busted in these 2 spots. But you have to look at the facts here. His usage rate was definitely really good. He just shot the ball like shit. So, I don't like the spot, but I do like Kyrie for GPPs. Claxton, Ben Simmons. I prefer Ben Simmons to Claxton. I still think he's a solid play at 7.1K. Royce O'Neal got benched last game, I do believe, but I think he gets back to those normal minutes for him. I think he's a very safe play at 5.7K. Seth Curry definitely overpriced now with Kyrie back. TJ Warren still a little bit overpriced for my liking as well. Not much. Like Joe Harris, if you played him last game, this guy causes incredible amounts of pain, but that's the floor. That's the floor that you have to realize with going with Joe Harris. So know what you're getting into with him. And I think that's probably it for me. Mainly just Kyrie at the top for me, and then sprinkle in some Ben Simmons, some Royce O'Neal, maybe some Joe Harris, maybe some TJ Warren. But at this price tag, the minutes, just the ceiling is tough there with the amount of minutes he's playing. So let's move on to Phoenix. So we have Chris Paul questionable. This is going to change a lot, and we have Cam Johnson back. If Paul's in, I don't think there's much for me. Like Paul's probably going to be on the limit. Ayton's been so up and down, but I think it's a good spot for him. He'd probably be my favorite play. Cam Johnson is probably going to be on a limit. Yeah, he'll be on a limit, so can't go there. And then that muddies for the waters for guys like Craig, Lee, Saric. So not much, man. But if Paul's out, then that does change some things. Like I would like Bridges. I think 8 would be fine. Cam Johnson still can't get to. Dwayne Washington was a DNP last game. We'll have to see what they do with the starting lineup. Like if we get Saban Lee starting at 3.2K, would really like him. I don't know if they do that though, but if Dwayne's a DNP again and they play Saban Lee that much, going to be a good value. And then like I said, with like Cam Johnson back, that just like hurts Craig. It hurts Saric. I don't think Craig as much would still have interest in him, but definitely Saric. I think Damian Lee will still be in the rotation. He's just like there for me. So Got to keep an eye on that Chris Paul news. Let's move on to Philly, and this team's easy to talk about. It's my Sixers. I love Joel Embiid. I like Harden. These two are going to lead the way offensively. They're going to do everything for this team. I personally think it's a good matchup for Joel Embiid. I don't think Nurkic is going to be able to stop him at all. So, like Embiid a lot. James Harden at 9.8K has been absolutely on fire except for this last game. I think that is definitely an outlier. Like his ceiling. Maxi's still a little bit overpriced for me. Tobias Harris seems super safe. God's going to play huge minutes. He'll run that second unit when they sub out Embiid and Harden, which definitely helps his fantasy output when he has that team to himself. Guy that contribute in a lot of different ways. So I don't hate Toby at 6.1K. Going to anyone else is extremely tough. Like, I don't think I can get to Melton. Don't think I can get to Shake. So really just Harden, Embiid, and Tobias Harris for me. Um, so yeah, let's move on to Portland. So I think Dame makes for one of, if not the best spend ups on the slate. Been absolutely dialed in of late. Peripheral stats are up. Don't love the matchup, but he has just been absolutely on fire. So love Dame tomorrow. Nurk, if he can stay out of foul trouble, which he's already always in foul trouble, but now you have him going up against Embiid, going to be really, really tough to stay out of foul trouble here. But if he does, I definitely do like his upside. Also, when you have other bigs going out to the 3-point line, Embiid really struggles to defend. So a guy like Nurkic that can shoot some threes, it's actually a pretty good spot for him. I think people don't understand that. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I think people misunderstand Joel Embiid, like phenomenal defender, but I think they misunderstand how he defends. Like centers that can go out to the perimeter, he definitely struggles with. So Nurkic can shoot some threes. Like, I think it's actually a better spot for him than people think. So some interest in Nurk. Grant Simons, they're just there for me. I think Josh Hart is too cheap at 4.9K. I think he's a pretty good value play. Good rebounder, good facilitator. Not the best scorer, but fine. So definitely do like Josh Hart at 4.9K. And I don't think I'll be going to anyone else. So I hope you guys had a good night tonight, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow.